Fucking a UVTV motherfucker. I'm in a kick spiritual ass and do this for my people. On God. Nia nigga fed them in here. And today I'm gonna be talking about streaming university is the new way to capitalize off of organic content creators and streamers. Not just in general, right? Because I'm not no spiritual hater. And I'm not saying there's something against universities or college. And I'm not going against people who are streamers and content creators. Y'all can just do y'all thing. But it's just a lot of the time based upon TV and Sony and Warner Bros. And Disney Channel and stuff like that, the things that make it seem that you need to aspire to be based upon society and what it means to be successful and stuff like that, a lot of it is based upon a lot of materialistic pretenses. And if it's based upon a materialistic pretense on a higher percentage scale, it's something to appeal to strangers. So you be on a public platform and you have that lack thereof quality of having control because you have handlers who handle your situation, them paying for your accountants, them paying for your financial advisors, your lawyers, and your lifestyle, and from them funding your life based upon an advance, so you can be an entertainer in quotations. You know what I'm saying? Like be an entertainer, right? And you being on a public platform to be the new superstar or the global star based upon, you know what I'm saying, different Americanized concepts of what it means to be a superstar. So you being a part of the industry, you reaching the top or the pinnacle of what it means to be a part of their industries and stuff like that or their institutions. And on a high percentage scale, based upon that funding, is making it so they have way more creative control, or you have that lack thereof of creating your own way of how to perceive things. Because I feel like on a, you know what I'm saying, I be feeling like y'all begin to perceive based upon what you can externally see, even though you could see something coming a mile away, the same way how you see that commonly in your life and stuff like that. And it's based upon more like an insight or like an intuition, and something feel off and you can't explain it through words, and it ain't happening in reality, but you could see that thing coming a mile away of, I could see this on a higher percentage scale not going in my favor. And based upon us going through the ups and downs when it comes to life and stuff like that, of the universe working through you, not for you or against you. So sometimes it's going to be for you, and then sometimes it's going to be against you. But from you being in that equilibrium type of space to where you're going to be frequently trying to be current and trying to create, regardless if it's going for you or against you and stuff like that, that's how you end up doing things for God or all possibilities, so to speak. So based upon the monetary gain that you can get from it, y'all can get put into a section of you're doing it for the sake of a job or trying to hit a lick or whatever. I'm just trying to use different things to make that make sense, right? Trying to hit a lick on the game to, you know what I'm saying, scam, get a quick scheme, run y'all money up and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So you can have that safety, security, and stability based upon different societal norms of what they make in the external world based upon where we live at currently, right? They'll make up these different pockets to where if you don't got that, you ain't shit. Even though you could die right now and have $1 million, you can't take none of that with you. So you start to see the actual importance of what that is. Oh, that thing gonna come and go, just like relationships. Money gonna come and go. Relationships gonna come and go. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's going through a birth, life, death cycle mechanism, just same way how we see the seasonal transitions for the most part. So you start to see, oh, okay, you have to understand the order. You have to understand the mechanism. You have to understand the process. And once you trust the process, you'll end up trusting the process instead of just trusting whatever human makeup in their mind to convince your thought and feelings to persuade you to think otherwise than the process, because everyone has their own creativity, everyone has their own state of being and stuff like that that helps them be more clairvoyant or make things feel more clear and stuff like that. And that's the thing that helps them be more productive and stuff like that. So if something helps you be more in that productive state of being instead of you being in an unproductive or self-sabotaging state of being or a degenerate state of being on a higher percentage scale, right? You can see the favorable energy you'll be in from you making some new goal or some new fruit or something that's like a high hanging fruit. So something that's gonna be eternal and everlasting, not something that just died quickly like a trend or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You was hot for like that 1 year or two and stuff like that, and then you didn't even know how to do you know what I'm saying? Like you didn't even know what to do with it, and that lets you know on a higher percentage scale when a motherfucker actually started to get some money, what was they actually doing it for? Are you doing it just to flex? Are you doing it just to be chauvinistic? Or are you doing it for a purpose so you can show your ability, show your talents, show your gifts that God gave to you? That's why you sentient right now. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got your own mind, your own creative abilities and stuff like that you're able to show off and let your light shine or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to make it make sense. So in general, you start to see on a higher percentage scale, okay, what are you actually doing that for? What's the intention? What's the intent? So it's not going to be no thing, oh, money is the root of all evil. No, it's the intent about why you doing what you doing for the sake of that money. So are you doing it for the sake for some safety, security, or like a job based upon your circumstance? Not trying to say that's necessarily bad. It's just when you start to depend on that as a mental crutch on a higher percentage scale, and then we all got mental crutches, but based upon you not letting that mental crutch deteriorate because it served its purpose. Okay, that was cool right now, but then what? You know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna keep that going? Like, now you got it, but now you in that bored type of energy, and if you start being too bored and you never try to find something to do to be more productive and stuff like that, you end up doing some degenerate shit, or you end up blowing out your money for no fucking reason and stuff like that because you didn't even know what to do with it the minute you even got it in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you have to understand the purposes behind the intent so you can attract the right energy towards you and stuff like that. So you start to understand the mechanism: expansion, contraction, masculine, feminine, closeness, distance, sometimes more personal to you and stuff like that, and you being able to go to distance with it and then able to condense it again to a personal outlook or worldview and stuff like that, and then making that world blown up and more bigger and stuff like that, so people can be a part of your atmosphere or be a part of your world and stuff like that, instead of you getting lost into the creations of other people's thoughts and feelings and other people's worlds, and then you get lost into that idol worship deity concept and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? To where you end up going to war for something that probably don't even represent you and your people or your culture or your creativity and stuff like that, and then you end up giving your power away, and you never actually put yourself in a circumstance to where you could utilize your power, or you could be a celebrity, or you could be the walking cross, walking emanation, walking star of what something looked like based upon your creative gifts and ideas and your imagination, and making your dream come true, instead of you trying to overly adhere to other people's dreams and other people's ways of how to go about things. AKA look at that as you trying to add on to other people's worldviews, but you don't even have a way of how you view the world, and you're not trying to make your light shine. You trying to be the spectator of you instead of you being the leader. And you have to understand that balance just in general. Okay, sometimes you can be the assistant, sometimes you can just be in the background trying to help the person, help people be uncrippled or help them get into a position and stuff like that. But then sometimes you gotta let your light shine and you gotta be the leader, instead of you being a darkness and then you get overshadowed and you being over eclipsed, even though you know you probably better at the other motherfuckers who are the actual representations of whatever intellectual property or whatever showcase that it got to be showcased, and you got more of a talent, you got more of an ability and stuff like that, and you can see they misusing that bitch, and why motherfuckers talking about them and then why they not talking about me type of energies and stuff like that, and it's going to start to turn to jealousy and envy type of energies, and you over exaggerate it, and then you end up, you know what I'm saying, being like a spiritual hater instead of you trying to hate in the internal realm. So hate that quality of you acting out based upon degeneracy and what you lack, instead of you trying to clear that up, instead of you focusing on your insecurities and what you lack, and try to focus on, oh, what I can actually do, and put myself in that type of position, and not be too overly focused on someone else getting that admiration and stuff like that, because eventually that just lead to things like validation issues and too many mental crutches, and then you have to end up clearing that up because you keep on getting stuck in between the process, and you basically end up being too in your feelings. Basically, it's you know what I'm saying? Like that's the simplest way I could put that. You get too caught up in your feelings, so you get too caught up in the fluxes and the bullshit of it all and stuff like that, and you end up boxing out yourself. You know what I'm saying? You end up putting yourself in a container, and then you never learn how to get out the container, and you don't know how to fulfill that pocket, and you never gonna feel fulfilled because you didn't learn how to do the process properly and try to fulfill that internally first, instead of going based upon what you externally seeing. Right, and then once you actually learn how to fulfill that pocket in a more proper manner and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna be way more in a better position and stuff like that. And then you start to understand the sacrifices that it took for someone to even be in that position and actually uphold it and stuff like that. And I'm saying all this as like building up type of energies before I even get into the video of what the topic is and stuff like that, because this is all substantial. But just in general, right, when it comes to these content creators, it definitely represents younger millennials, Gen Z, and Gen Alpha, Gen Alpha who's coming up to be, who want to aspire to be these things. And like I was saying before, based upon what is seen on social media and stuff like that as a societal norm, instead of it being compared to what's actually happening in real life and what's real reactions and what's real responses and what it means to be hot and be lit in real life, instead of you just having a whole bunch of different traction online, because that's just online. Online is just synthetic real life. It's just trying to mimic what's going on in real life. But we would even be talking about what we're talking about online if people weren't actually trying to do that in real life, and not based upon someone trying to craft reality or make an observable event, or a motherfucker trying to do like a gimmick. You know what I'm saying? Like something that got crafted to make it look like it's real, but it's not actually real. That whole thing was planned, and things of that nature, based upon trying to get that attention, because motherfuckers be lost into being attention seekers. Because if you naturally got attention and stuff like that, you would even have to seek for it. You wouldn't have to be in that search, finding type of energy. You just get attention for what you already do, because that's what you already concentrating on. That's what you already focus on. And then people are going to naturally be attracted to it, because it's your genuality and your sincereness and your creativity about why you do it. Not know, oh, I'm trying to craft a certain reality so y'all look at it a certain way and stuff like that, so you can give me this like button, so you can give me this view count, so you can give me this admiration and stuff like that for what I did. I was able to capitalize off a moment and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It is leading to like some Americanized type of concept and stuff like that. And that's how I get super flunked out. But just in general, when it comes to streamer university and organic content creators, because I'm a content creator and stuff like that. I ain't on Twitch, I ain't streaming, but streaming just in general is just you showcasing your stream of consciousness. So if you're able to have a stream of consciousness, you're able to lead the flow. It's like flow state, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna use y'all terms. Flow state. So you able to be what's currently presently going on and stuff like that. Because from you being in that stream of consciousness and stuff like that, right? You able to make a water flow, a waterway, a current. So you're able to talk about what's currently going on. And what's water? Water is fluid. Water is transparent, so you can see through it, and it's something you can soak into and you can absorb for the most part. So we need water to survive, right? So from us needing water to survive, okay, it's something we can soak up, like soaking up game. So it's something we can absorb into. So from you controlling the water flow, the water pathways and stuff like that, the stream, your stream of consciousness and stuff like that, from you being able to be fluid, for you being able to be current, for you being able to be relatable or relative and stuff like that, right? People like that being showcased and stuff like that, because it's something you naturally know how to do based upon what your imagination is doing and stuff like that, right? So based upon your imagination, you was able to make a nation. A nation is just like a country, and then a country has different states. So like states of being, right? So from you being able to make all those different states of being, you're able to show those different states of awarenesses based upon the masculine and feminine. Look at the masculine and feminine as thoughts and feelings. And you was able to accumulate them to where is able to run a country, is able to run a nation based upon what the government is doing. And then a government is just a governing mentality. You was able to rule or govern the mentality, and you was able to showcase it. You was able to, you know what I'm saying? You was able to make it a running, flowing, engineered machine for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really that simple. So you was able to have some type of movement and stuff like that. You was able to entice, you was able to make it relatable, and you was able to continuously do that, and you never stop doing it. So it's making something more everlasting or abundantly frequent, and based upon you being on a high frequency, you was able to put that at the forefront, right? Because something above the horizon or something that's up, it also means being in the front, or you being the face. And then anything that's down or below the horizon, right, it's like you regressing or you going backward and stuff like that. That's like the past. So if it's something of the past, it's something that you're holding on to. And if it's something of the future, it's something that you're not trying to hold on to. You're trying to let go of, and you're trying to be out of the pocket instead of you being in the pocket. Because if you're holding on to something, that means you're in something. You're in a container. And then if you're trying to be out of something, you're not holding on to anything and stuff like that. So the future will be like you trying to actualize something of where you're trying to go, and you ain't in that state of being yet. It's not presently going on, but you're trying to take things from the past and the future. So the past as in what you already done experience, and in the future will be where you're trying to be, and you're trying to make that a part of your present. And that's how motherfuckers begin confused and stuff like that. Like, oh, I'm always constantly living in the future. I'm trying to be this, I'm trying to be that, and stuff like that. You're never going to be able to take those aspirations or those dreams and stuff like that that you want to accomplish based upon those goals being overly focused and predicated on what you trying to be instead of you just being it itself currently. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not exactly what you want it to be yet, you need to try to be in that state of being. So just being yourself. You know what I'm saying? So like you have to be that itself, even if it ain't perfect. That's the beauty of it. Perfection is just you imperfectly having your own perfect way of how to do it for the most part. And that's the thing that's perfect. You have your imperfect, perfect way of how you go about it. So that's the thing that makes it unique. That's the thing that makes it individualized. That's your specific way of how to do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's all perfection is. You was able to imperfectly do it in your own perfect way. You was able to be one of a kind, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? That's your one of a kind way of how to do it. And even if a motherfucker be like, oh, that shit ain't perfect because of this, that, and the third. To you, that's just your specific way of how you do it. So it's never going to be seen the same way of how another motherfucker do it because I don't got your mind and stuff like that. You have your own perfect way of how to go about it and stuff like that. Okay, I'm trying to work on my talent and ability of trying to be perfect and perfect this thing and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But really all you're trying to say is I'm trying to work out the imperfections, but that is the perfection in itself. You can't get no perfection without the imperfection. So you have the imperfect way of making it perfect. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of it not going exactly how I want in my favor, right? You're going to put yourself in a predicament where it is going to go more in your favor when you're not worried about if it's going to go in your favor or not. Because the universe is working through you, not for you or against you. So you're going to get put more in circumstances where it's going to go more in your favor exactly how you want it to go because you ain't worried about if it's going to go in your exact way or not and stuff like that. You just pivot and hope for the best. And then even if it don't, you still going to keep doing what you're doing and continuously trying to build on that quality. For the most part, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the real goal. That's the real essence behind it. You know what I'm saying? That's the real substance, the subconscious standing. That's gonna be way more sturdy than anything else instead of some dollar bill or some money or some monetary gain. Not trying to say there's something wrong with money and stuff like that, but without some type of spiritual system, without some type of government, without some type of organization and stuff like that, without some type of you know what I'm saying, communion and stuff like that, to make that what it is, there wouldn't be no such thing as that in the first place and stuff like that. So someone had to create money for money to be the value of what we talking about today and stuff like that. Okay, someone had to put their face on a dollar bill or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it can represent their forefathers based upon the 13 colonies and what they did to even get taken over in the first, to even take over this land in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so like it had to be a group of people, a legion. You know what I'm saying? The same way how y'all look at religion and stuff like that. Okay, it had to be a legion of people who believe in it and stuff like that. And we taking things that are make-believe and we making motherfuckers believe in it, okay? Y'all all came together as a community based upon the Americanized concept to make what the Americanized concept of us from us living in the United States just in general to make it what it is. And y'all believed in that so much to where y'all could be the front runners and the representation and the predecessors of what that is based upon what our ancestors did, so we can have what we got today. And then y'all just upholding that, and then that's it based upon y'all lineage and stuff like that. Now I'm not even hating. I'm just saying, motherfuckers start to westernize stuff, and if you got westernized, you're just being assimilated into some European concept, but it's just done in the new version, which is just capitalism, or what's the word? Capitalism, commercialism, I can't think of the fucking word. It being Americanized, yeah. So all that basically leads to, when it comes to streaming university and stuff like that, right? So like I was explaining with the whole stream of consciousness type of concept and stuff like that, right? They're just trying to utilize people who aren't a part of their industry or aren't a part of their system, and they're trying to add that money or that backing or that funding so they can be industrialized, they can be assimilated into their newfound streaming industry. It's not no name for that yet, but it's just, we're gonna fund what you got going on. We're gonna put you on a label like Platboy Max and stuff like that. I'm just using him as like an example because he made music. Okay, we're gonna put you on a label. We're gonna give you handlers, and then we're gonna make our artists be a part of your content creation and stuff like that, even though he's been doing that before he even got that funding or got that back in the first place, right? To make you be seen in a certain way, right? So for him being seen in a certain way, they're just trying to capitalize of his content and what he created for himself, which is why he'll do some shit right now where he gonna put on a wig and stuff like that and emasculate himself. I'm never gonna go deep into that. Hey, bro, go crazy. You know what I'm saying? Go crazy. But like, I'm not trying to get into that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so he can be the new superstar, or like kind of like similar to the DDG. Oh, he was like a streamer turn content creator turn rapper or whatever and stuff like that. And we're gonna put these people on this platform because we're trying to capitalize off of it. You know what I'm saying? All the way down to what they was doing with Adin Ross and things of that nature early on. Because they see, oh, this what kids watching, and this is the new thing online that people are into. So let's send our agencies, you know what I'm saying? Like on some Men in Black agent type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Let's send our agencies and let's actually add some label backing or funding behind what they got going on. Let's handle it so it can go in a format that we can control, so they can be institutionalized. So all the way down to, okay, what they doing with Castanet and him being a poster boy, or like I Show Speed and him being a poster boy of that in general when it comes to them being streamers. So they can be a part of their Americanized concept, right? So they can be in different commercials. So they can be in different programs and stuff like that. They're just trying to program them so they can have more creative control and give them more access to where, okay, they have more access to create more, but the things they're creating is just, oh, you're going to get a whole bunch of different people on your platform based upon our industries, based upon what, like how you grew up. Oh, you like Big Time Rush? Okay, we're going to put Big Time Rush in our shit. Oh, who's currently current relevant right now, right? So Ice Spice or like Tyler or like Lizzo. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to take all these people who are currently in our industry and then utilize you through your funding system from you being a content creator, and then we see, oh, people pay attention to you based upon, you know what I'm saying? Because the starting point when it came to this streaming shit and Twitch and stuff like that, it really came from gaming. And then they started making things like, oh, motherfuckers just going out there just to talk, like I'm Dante, your Rage and stuff like that. But before they even got capitalized on, for the most part, right? It was just a thing to where, oh, that's just something they genuinely like to do. And then people constantly that started to come around, oh, I want to break certain records. Oh, I want to be the biggest streamer and stuff like that. And then that's when it led to what we got right now where, oh, you're going to be in like this mansion, do your mafia-thon, have a million different cameras watching everything that you're doing and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You get no sense of privacy. So people can't, people around the world can see, oh, okay, this is like the new thing kids into and stuff like that when it comes to streamers and content creators. So they can also be a part of it, so we could have a whole bunch of different donations, a whole bunch of people saying a whole bunch of wild shit in their chat, and a whole bunch of different emotes and stuff like that, and send a whole bunch of different bots. So they can look like they're the biggest representation, but they're literally just the biggest representation in their industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the simplest way of how I can make that make sense. So from you being that in their industry, oh, you don't got your own industry, you're just part of their industry. So instead of you being around your own culture and your own people, you're doing it for people in suits and ties or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing it with people who aren't your people. And then even if you is a white person and you look at that as like, oh, so you're saying they're getting whitewashed. Yeah, you could look at it like that, but okay, let's say even if they was like Adin Ross or they was like Jewish or whatever and stuff like that. And I'm not hating, I'm just saying, let's say they were that. Okay, you're doing it for Jewish people that you did not grow up around. With you and your family and your lineage, you just grew up around. I mean, you're doing it for their lineage of, okay, yeah, they could also be European, they could also be white, they could also be Jewish, but it's some Jewish motherfuckers who you don't know for the most part. So yeah, they still your people or whatever, and they made that concept of what that is in the first place based upon things getting Americanized, right? But you're still appealing to strangers. You're still trying to appeal to people who aren't your people though. You know what I'm saying? So for one, you doing it based upon that funding system and stuff like that with people who you didn't even grow up around out of Sandbox. And then on top of that, from you being a content creator, streamer or whatever and stuff like that, you're appealing to people who ain't your people either. You know what I'm saying? So you're appealing to a whole bunch of different Asians. You're appealing to people like me. You know what I'm saying? You appealing to black people, right? You're appealing to Arabs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You appealing to like a Filipino or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're being made as what it means to be a part of America, to be a streamer and a content creator, and that's the new thing the kids is into and stuff like that. And you the currently thing that's hot and going on, but you're only hot in this industry though. You know what I'm saying? Like it's only based upon that. It's never gonna go further than that unless you make some own thing that's outside of that industry, just in general. So look at that like a major corporation or like a major industry and stuff like that, right? Okay, you're deep in the pot when it comes to capitalism. Okay, you deep in the pot with you being a private enterprise. Okay, you deep in the pot with, oh, your shit gonna get commercialized. Oh, it's gonna be seen in different TV programs. So you're gonna program motherfuckers so they can buy your product, and they're gonna over exaggerate how good your product is, like some Jake Paul prime juice or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not for sure that's Jake Paul shit. I think that's Logan Paul shit. But like you get what I'm trying to say. To make people want to buy your thing because, oh, it's the name brand. It's the name brand. It's the title and stuff like that. Oh, I saw that shit on commercial and stuff like that. So it must be good. And then you actually eat that shit and it has a whole bunch of different additives. It's actually not that good for you. And it's not as good as some shit you can actually go get outside or at a farmer's market. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really that simple. It's not as creative. It's not as enticing as the genuine organic shit. It's just the thing that's getting capitalized on and sensationalized so motherfuckers can stay in business based upon the starting point of where they got with their industries and stuff like that. Because back in the day in the 1940s, that's where they started at, when it was way more organic. Like before McDonald's became McDonald's, it was Mickey D's, and then Mickey D's turned to McDonald's, and for McDonald's to maintain being McDonald's and stuff like that, okay, we gotta incorporate some type of machinery and stuff like that to where our burgers ain't that good and stuff like that, but hey, we can still pop that shit out like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, so for the most part, yeah, they're making them a part of a university, right? Here's the main point, right? They're taking different people's stream of consciousness based upon them being a content creator or them being a streamer or them, you know what I'm saying? They're being really creative with the type of content or the subject matter that they're talking about, right? And they making it more gentrified. You know what I'm saying? They're making it more low value or making it about monetary things. I'm not trying to say there's nothing wrong with doing that every now and then and stuff like that, right? But it's things that are like really just monetary, like super like materialistic or whatever, right? So things that like basically come and go, or what's going on when it comes to, oh, what's the thing that's being capitalized on now for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, what's the thing that's currently going on when it comes to music and entertainment and business or politics or whatever and stuff like that. Even though all that is just a different organization to try to control people too, based upon the Americanized concept in general, so they can maintain that rulership. But like, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole different thing. But in general, from them making it a university, right? That's based upon you going to college or whatever, right? So you going to college, it's like that universal school. Well, in their mind, they're trying to make it universal. Okay, we're gonna make some universal thing where everyone's gonna group up together, and the only way you can get a higher education is you have to learn the American language based upon English, which is just a pidgin language. It's just a combination of a whole bunch of different languages together, like Latin. English is just a bastardized Latin and a whole bunch of different other languages combined together, so we can have a universal language that we can understand each other, which is fine. But it take you away from people making their own languages amongst their people, so they can have more creative ways, so they can interpret things or talk. My phone cut out, but like, cause my phone about to die for real. But like, yeah, like so people could talk about things based upon oral tradition or amongst their own people, but that's just them and those communities and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They have their own way of how they like to run things because it's more local, it's more regional, but they're trying to make like a universal thing to make it harder for people to actually do that, because then it's gonna put people in that position of how y'all look at the government right now for the most part. So they're always trying to resist, oh, motherfuckers trying to have their own way of governing or have their own way of how to construct society and stuff like that, because they're gonna look at that as like anti-government or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna look at that as like a threat for some reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they don't want motherfuckers to actually, instead of you going to a university based upon college debt, based upon you being institutionalized, based upon you being industrialized, based upon you being a part of, you know what I'm saying? Like you being part of a fraternity and stuff like that, and you just being part of a fraternal order, that's just based upon some Masonic type of shit. And that's really a different video in itself. So based upon it being Masonic, it's just a grand order, because the Masons are just stone builders and craftsmen. So they like to craft reality. So for them, like, So from them liking to craft reality, and they always have something with the big G and the generalizing. You know what I'm saying? It's like always some military policeman trickle down Fed talk for the most part. If I want to make that mad simple, it's always some, oh, we're trying to craft reality based upon some general officer, the same way how we had uh, the Confederacy and the different generals who took over Native Americans and stuff like that, so we can have this land on American soil and all that type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's really a whole different thing. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna go deep about that. But it's in general, yeah, like colleges be having different fraternities, and based upon it being like a brotherhood, or them trying to have that Masonic symbolism based upon Greek lettering or whatever and stuff like that, it's just something to adhere to their European ancestors or whatever. So it just make it so you get more detached from your people the minute you start going to college and things of that nature. That's why motherfuckers who end up paying for college, not trying to say there's something wrong with college, but this is why it leads to things of, oh, people who you went to public school with, or let's say you grew up in the hood, and then let's say they went to college. That's why when they end up coming back for like fall break or like summer break or spring break or whatever, outside of what they was doing at college and the people they was hanging around, they completely change, and they stop acting like how they was when it was in the hood. And then a lot of people try to demonize that, like, oh, the motherfucker from the hood and stuff like that. Oh, he's acting more civilized and stuff like that. No, you just got around a whole bunch of different elitists or suburban motherfuckers and stuff like that. And it's not just white people when I say suburbia, because I grew up in the suburbs and things of that nature. It's not just white people here. But you get what I'm trying to say. You get what I'm trying to say. Like, they got like gentrified into something. They got assimilated into something. The same way how they gentrify Atlanta right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got assimilated into something where it's taking you away of how you even grew up in the first place, and the way you grew up in the environment and all that type stuff. As much as you try to detach and make it some whole other thing, you wouldn't be who you was if you didn't grow up in that environment, in that surrounding. And you know what I'm saying, from where you was at in that geographical location, and the people that you met, and the friends that you knew out of sandbox, and then all of a sudden you start getting cold and distant because now you're around these new motherfuckers and you trying to get a degree, and you trying to get that associate bachelor degree to make you feel like you have some intelligence or some mental superiority and stuff like that. No, you just getting assimilated into their higher education and stuff like that. You just getting educated to what some European did. But like, but in general, of some Asian enlightenment, you just get enlightened about the system they created for what they want you to know, based upon the different course classes and all that type of stuff, based upon the medical field, or based upon lawyers, and based upon and then look, I'm not trying to say there's nothing wrong with working in communication or working in psychology. I'm not trying to say there's something wrong with college or whatever and stuff like that. But I'm just trying to say that's what you're getting into the minute you start going there. It's a generalized concept to make y'all part of the collage. It's a university. It's to make some universal thing to where you're still in some type of Americanized, Europeanized concept. You getting, you know what I'm saying? So you don't think based upon common sense. You get indoctrinated. Don't ever get spooked out by that. Okay, what's a doctrine? A book. You get indoctrinated into their books instead of you creating your own book. You get lost into their authorship and what those authors made based upon Shakespeare and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You get lost into that shit instead of you being in a position of you creating a book, or you creating some new curriculum, or you being a teacher and a philosopher or whatever and stuff like that. But if you don't got a associate or a bachelor degree, a motherfucker's gonna look at you like you ain't got that credential and stuff like that. Oh, you don't got a badge. Oh, you don't got a PhD. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't getting backed by some Americanized concept, so it must be some pseudo shit. It must be some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you just some crazy motherfucker who be talking about a whole bunch of different spiritual shit, and you on YouTube being a consecrator. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like me and stuff like that. A motherfucker start hearing how I talk, and then they think I'm just saying a whole bunch of different bullshit and stuff like that, and I don't got that credentials. So, like, how the fuck am I going to talk about spirituality when the spirit is just your state of being, just in general? The spirit is just your space and stuff like that. So based upon my state of awareness and what I'm trying to create for myself, okay, I created. So look at that as like, you're basically becoming book smart into those books, the books that they gonna facilitate based upon the history books and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna tell you what they want you to know. They ain't gonna tell you the real shit. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna go deep. They ain't gonna tell you the real shit. So you do this book smart, but when it comes to common sense or you being street smarts, You being street smart, you lack it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't around real people and real individuals and real situations and stuff like that. You all up in that university and college and shit like that in your dorm trying to stack up on college debt and stuff like that. Like, so it's not no thing where it be like, oh yeah, I'm really getting disciplined. I'm really getting an education and stuff like that. I'm better than y'all. No, the fuck you ain't. You just getting disciplined into their shit. They gonna discipline you into their culture. That's it. That's not your culture, and you ain't grow up like that. You grew up with a whole bunch of different motherfuckers who wasn't even into that. You met actual, genuine, real people and stuff like that before you even went to that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to get institutionalized in their academy, their school, their discipline, their development of knowledge, is just you getting industrialized. You being industrialized is you being a part of American culture. American culture is just capitalism culture. Capitalism culture is just commercialized culture. And commercialized culture is you just being westernized and you being assimilated into their shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. Instead of you being around you and your people and how your mama and daddy raised you, now they mommy and daddy, now they're fraternal mommy and daddy's raising you and stuff like that. Now they're associate, bachelor, and master's degrees is raising you. Instead of you trying to raise yourself and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really that simple. So based upon streaming university and stuff like that, that whole concept in itself, that's the thing they're trying to control in general. So from you going to streaming university, oh, the college experience, you going to dorm, this, that, and the third, right? Yeah, it's getting prepped up based upon the college experience. Not trying to say there's something wrong with college, but that's what you're getting into, and that's the thing you are a part of, and they're just trying to make an entertainment factor out of that so they can find new fruit. They can find more young motherfuckers like me who are younger millennials, who are the counselors, the young Gen Z, who are the students, and Gen Alpha, the generation after us, who can aspire to want to be that, so you can watch a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying, so you can see a whole bunch of motherfuckers saying a whole bunch of crazy shit in chat, and always trying to appeal to chat, always trying to say chat, you know what I'm saying, what's up chat, you know what I'm saying, like appealing to the chat and stuff like that, instead of you trying to appeal to you and your people, and those are the people in your chat, not some bots, not some motherfuckers who trying to, you know what I'm saying, like adhere to your degeneracy, or you trying to act out attention-seeking qualities, which leads to validation issues, because you feel like, oh, if I'm not getting attention, and if motherfuckers ain't giving me the like button, if motherfuckers ain't upping up my view count and stuff like that, based upon me making this money, because I look at this as a job, and I aspire to be like this, because I want to be a streamer, content creator, and stuff like that, that's the thing that's going to make you feel like you losing, or you're not as successful as somebody else and stuff like that, instead of you just doing it based upon you just like to do it, like how I'm doing right now, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta say my piece, because I'm that. I'm a content creator. You know what I'm saying? I'm a streamer. I'm that. So it's like, you ain't gonna make motherfuckers start feeling like that. But that's what they doing, and that's what they just utilizing Castanet for. Castanet probably not think about it like that in his mind, which is fine. But in general, that's the thing they trying to do. They're just trying to capitalize off of what people around my age are into, and they had to do it in that concept, so you could want to go to college, and you could be a part of streaming university, and you could be online, and they could sit there and try to gentrify your ass and stuff like that, and get you flunked out in a new way, even if you didn't want to go to college or whatever. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? The same way how they gentrify in Atlanta, that's the same way they trying to gentrify y'all brains based upon streaming and content creation, so you can look at that as being successful as a content creator, and then that's it.